Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today this is a Discipline Priest PvP guide in Battle for Azeroth. So I will be going through talents and some gameplay tips, and after the video is ended, where I finished talking, I will play a rated battleground for you that I played yesterday as an additional, so you can watch it or not, or just feel like okay, I'm good now and you can skip on. So, talents, gameplay tips, and a rated battleground video of me playing. What couldn't be better? So, first of all, let's go through the talents as a Discipline Priest. What I feel like talents should be when actually playing as a Discipline Priest. So, I would say you have kind of two builds as a Discipline Priest. You have either one where you heal the most, or where you damage the most. And of course, when you damage, you will also heal. But still, you can choose between having a very offensive or very defensive on your teammates. So the first row here is level 15. Twist of Fate is my favorite one for the healing spec. That means every time you're healing a target below 35%, you will deal increases damage and increases healing by 20 for 10 seconds. In a rated battleground or arena, I mean, it happens someone gets below 35%, and that's great because then you heal and deal 20% increases damage. That's pretty much. So in total, this one here is kind of a, like execute is killing someone. This is kind of the reverse of execute. You're kind of healing much more because of this talent here. Schisma is the one I would use if you actually expected damage build. So I would use this one here for healing build, and I would use this one here for damage build. So if you're trying to, let's say example, you play a 2 versus 2 arena and you want to deal much more damage and kind of help you down your DPS to get a kill, then Schisma is the perfect one because, well, you will deal additional 40% damage on the target. That means almost, well, not almost double, but you know, it's half more. So that means you can pretty much help killing in those 9 seconds where you deal 40% more damage, and also it deals 10k damage, and I mean your penance is dealing, what is it, 9k damage, so it's even dealing more damage than penance. So you can cast penance or Schisma and then penance and boom boom boom, fast 20k damage. What's not to like? So Twist of Fate if you're going to, I would say, heal more, and Schisma if you want to deal more damage. The next row here, Angelic Feather, I would say 100% always the best, just keep it no matter what. Next row again, Mindbender is the best one for your healing spec, because every minute you can use your Mindbender, and for 12 seconds it it gives you mana all the time every time it attacks. Also every time the Mindbender attacks, it also heals everyone that has atonement on. That means every minute you actually have a beast for 12 seconds that just attack, and everyone will get healed by atonement. That's a free healing over time spell. It's pretty much helping you to survive, and it's actually big ticks they are doing for healing. And if I had any other talents, it will actually have 3-minute cooldown. That means every 3rd minute you can only use it, and that's not much. So passively best healing, the Mindbender wins here. If you're playing the damage spec with Schisma, you should always take Power with Solace, because when using Schisma, spamming Power with Solace and then popping out a penance on the target, it's high damage. It's really high damage. So those two together are really high damage. The next row here is again up to, you can say, situations. Physic Voice is the one I primarily like to play with. But again, if you're playing with let's say a Warlock, and he's fearing pretty much, then your fear isn't that much worth, and I'll 100% go with Shining Force. Shining Force is also the one I prefer versus, let's say, a warrior for example, or any melee comps, because you're knocking them away and slowing them for 70%. It's pretty good. So a melee will be pushed away and have a very hard time catching up to you again, and you can use your feather to run away. Shining Force can also be very nice in rated battleground, where, let's say for example, Lumbermine isn't called Lumbermile in Azeroth. You're standing, you're defending the flag. A healer should not defend the flag, but you know, you're defending the flag. A rogue attacks you, you're using Shining Force, and poof, he will be pushed out of the edge and die. Probably not a rogue because he has the reduced fall damage, but you know what I mean. But passively, I best like to play with Physic Wise because it actually removes the it's actually half minute remove from a cooldown. That means it only has a half minute back again on my fear. I like that. The next row here, Sins of the Many, is 100% my favorite one no matter what. Even if I'm going to heal, even if I'm going to play as a damage spec, I will go with Sins of the Many all the time. The damage is passively increased by 12%, and of course the more atonement you use on an ally, the damage buff will reduce, and so on. Contrition could also be being used as a healer spec, because every time you heal with penance, everyone with atonement is healed by 1000 all the time. Well, every time it takes, so it would be 3000 in total. That could be fair enough, but I better like the damage passive one, because even you play with this healer spec here, you still want to do some damage, because the damage is your healing. So you still want to use your damage over time abilities on the enemies and still damage every time your teammates have over 50% health. So go with Sins of the Many. The next one here is Purge of the Wicked. 100% my favorite spell as a Discipline Priest. So Purge of the Wicked is your damage over time ability. Great ability. When you take it, you can see here, right now I only have 16 seconds on my Shadow Wild Pain, but if I take Purge of the Wicked, it's 20 seconds. That means you can actually put another, you can say, damage over time on your targets. Normally you could say you will maybe be able to cast Shadow Wild Pain on 4 targets and the first one is now going off, but with Purge of the Wicked you could easily put it on 4 targets and it will actually be for some time before you had to reset it. You could actually go out to 5 targets with Purge of the Wicked. Also, if you had Shadow Wild Pain and someone, let's say someone would use Shadow spell here, if you use Shadow Mend and someone locked you, you will not be able to use Shadow Wild Mend or Shadow Wild Pain, because both of them are Shadow and you'll be Shadow locked. But Purge of the Wicked is actually a fire spell, so that means if you get locked by Holy, Shadow, no matter what you have, you can still use Purge of the Wicked because it's a fire spell. So you can never be locked for Purge of the Wicked. Again, super awesome PvP talent. So Purge of the Wicked on this one here is just my favorite one, and also it has the passive effect. If you use Purge of the Wicked on a target and use Penance on him after that, it actually will spread to the nearest target of the enemy you use Penance on. That means you can use Purge of the Wicked on one in a 2v2 arena, and then use Penance and both of them will have it on. And you saved mana, so you don't have to use mana on Purge of the Wicked. So 100% Purge of the Wicked. The next row I would say that Alliance is my go-to talent. I would always take it no matter what. Every time you have Atonement on yourself, you also reduce all damage you take by 3%. And that's of course also on your teammates. And 3% damage reduction is pretty great. So Alliance will probably be the one I would play with always, no matter what. If, let's say, in a 2vs2 arena I made a double damage spec on the other team that normally never wins, but if I mid, I could maybe take Luminous Barrier because it's a big shield. But again, Alliance will probably be the one I would always play with. So this, as you can see now, is the damage, well sorry, the heal spec I would play with if I want to heal more. And this is the spec I would play with if I want to deal more damage. And keep in mind you actually get 2 new spells, so that it's actually also harder to play this spec because you get 2 additional buttons you have to fit down here in your rotation. So this spec here is the one I mostly use in arena and rated background. So also the PvP talents. The PvP talents I have at the moment is the one I would use also for healing. So first of all I would use Archangel, because it's a really great spell. For example, you can use 2 times power with Radiance, so up to 8 people will have atonements, and then you use well, the thing is, when you use Powered Radiance, everyone get atonement for 6 seconds. Then you put 2 times Powered Radiance out, so everyone has 6 seconds of atonements, and then you use your Archangel, and every one of those persons will get a full atonement on them all for 40 seconds. 14 seconds. That's insane. Then you have 8 people with atonements on for 14 seconds. Then you just have to deal a lot of damage, and boom, you just heal the whole team, and now you're top healing the whole team. What's not to like? Also, it increases your healing and absorption by 20%, and it only has 1 minute cooldown. I mean, it's a freaking awesome talent. I really love it. Then I use Ultimate Radiance. It's kind of a must if you want to heal. It makes your Powered Radiance instant, and it heals 200% additional. That means every time you use it, you can see it's 20k, 20k. And it heals you and up to 4 injured targets. So that's actually 5. So you can actually have atonement on 10 people. Then it's pretty cool. And then don't forget you can use Archangel, and anyone get a full atonement. Then I have a Premonition. This one here is kind of a must. You must play with all the time, no matter what you're doing. You just play with it. It's a really great talent for healing. I mean, when you use it, you heal everyone in for the next everyone in your team. Or if you play Altic Valley with 40 persons, just if they're 20 yards into you and you use it, you heal them all for 6,000. Insane healing. But the catch with it is that they actually deal damage. So it applies atonement to yourself. That's great. But it actually deals 3,000 damage to yourself for each atonement you have active. That means it actually gives you atonement on. That means you will get 3,000 from you. Let's say 20 people were close to you, then you, and if they, it's only if they have atonement on it actually will damage you. But if you use Powered Radiance on 2 times and let's say 10 persons get it, then you use Powered this promotion, and you will get 10 times 3k damage. But again, you heal all those people for a lot of healing, but you will get damage to yourself. But now you're saying, why is why is this one good? I cannot see it at all. Because this talent here is saving you from, if someone sheeps you, for example. If someone sheep you, sap you, or something, you can actually, okay, let's say you're watching right now a mage sheeping you. He's kind of sheeping you now. Then 1 second before the sheep is done, you use promotion, you get a sheep, and you get damage, and you get out of it. And also with a sap, paladin sap, monk sap, panda sap, I mean all those spells that stuns you, and if you get damage you will get out of it again. You can just, if you are quick and use premonition before they cast the spell, well, you get out of it because you will damage yourself. So it's a kind of PvP trinket if you actually use it correct, because you cannot use it while you are sheeped. Then it's last stand. So those 3 PvP talents and those talents is super with healing. And I mean, in a rated battleground or in arena 3 versus 3, we have no problem surviving with this. It's really great. It's super great. If I play the damage build, I will go to Schism and Powered Solace. I will probably replace Archangel with Dark Angel. Increase your damage and damage of all your allies with atonement for 15 seconds. 15% for 8 seconds. That means, okay, you cast Schism, that's 40%, then Dark Angel, that's 15, so you get up to 55, and boom, you're dealing crazy damage. And of course, I could probably also, instead of Ultimate Radiance, I could probably take Searing Light. The increased damage of your Smite equal more damage, and every time you use Smite, it reduces the cooldown of Penance. So probably something like this you could use in your damage spec. But again, I mean, Archangel is also a nice one here for having. So you could say probably you can replace Ultimate Radiance with Searing Light as a damage. So that was the talents, the PvP specs, and how I would play and how I actually play. So let's jump down here and let me give you some advice on how to play this spec. So first of all, your most important task is of course to hold atonement on everyone. You can apply atonement through powered shield, shadow mend, and it gives the full duration, you could say, so 40 seconds. I don't know if it's actually 15 seconds. It's 15, but it's because when you cast it on yourself it says 40 because the 1 second is already gone. So every time atonement, 15 seconds, and also through shadow mend. You can also get it through powered radiance, but it's only the half, you can say the half duration. Well, 60% of it is double duration. So instead of 15 seconds, it's those, what is it? It's like it's 7 seconds. So that's of course the best thing. But again, let me show here. So now I use powered radiance, and now I have it actually 9 seconds. Then I use, now you can see it's running off. Then I use Archangel, and boom, 15 seconds. So that means if you use powered radiance clever and get it on like 10 people and use Archangel, you have 10 people with atonement for 15 seconds. Then you can deal some heavy damage and healing. So now we got the atonements ready. So while you have the atonement on it, it's very important every time you go into a battle, you kind of need to run in the front. And the first thing you have to do is use Purge of the Wicked on all your targets by tap clicking. I recommend tap clicking, so you can see every time I click tap, it's click on the next target, because if you click with your mouse, you can probably get clicked on the wrong target and cast Purge of the Wicked 2 times. Again, this is up to you, but I cast my Purge of the Wicked on my bottom left to the one, my half bottom. So Purge of the Wicked, tap, Purge of the Wicked, tap, Purge of the Wicked, tap, Purge of the Wicked. And then if I have atonement on myself, you can now see the crazy healing I'm getting. And you can see it's still on it, and it's still a long time before I have to refresh it. And now I have to refresh it, and I use my tab rotation again. And it ignored this one here. So you can see I'm getting pretty much that healing, and if I use my atonement on anyone else in the team, they also get a huge healing. So I would say your mainly thing you have to do in PvP as a Discipline Priest is to hold up Purge of the Wicked on all targets as possible. Of course, if it's more than 4 targets, I think it's fine. I think it's fine with just 4. Actually 3 is also fine. 3 is like the recommended, but 4 is also good, because you can see when I'm finished, we have one that is almost done. But it's fine to dot up 3 to 5 persons, but you should not aim more than 5, because then every time you dot a new one will be finished, and of course then you also have it active all the time. But again, 3 to 5 targets is just recommended, and then you can begin your normal rotation. So you will sometimes get in a situation where someone is very low and you kind of need to heal him. What I recommend is to use Rapture, your cooldown here. You can see here, or if we go back to my healing spec. So Rapture, why do we have that? There. So Rapture is making my shield absorb 200% additional. So right now it absorbs 10k. So if I use Rapture, take my shield off, it's now 35k. That's pretty much. So if someone is trying to kill him, I'm kind of stopping everything and say, hey, you're not allowed to die, and you get a big shield. So while he's shielded, you can either do, one is you can cast Shadow Mend on him and spam Shadow Mend all until he's full health. But you also casted a big shield on him. That means you can actually have the free time now to heal him through damaging, as long as he has atonement on. Because you can see all the healing I'm getting right now, he will also get it. So, and then you can just hold up the big shield, because in 10 seconds you can precast the shield all the time. So in 10 seconds you can just spam shield on him while you're damaging also. That's pretty insane. Also a little tip is, for example, so right now I'm casting Shadow Mend, someone will kick me, so I will be locked and cannot use my shadow spell anymore. Well, then I just begin to cast Penance instead, or I cast Power with Shield, or Power with Radiance, or Smite, because it's holy spells. So that means my holy spells and my Shadow Wind is different. So I mean, every time someone is hunting me and okay, I'm stopping up to cast Shadow Wind on myself, then he kicks me. Oh no, now I cannot use the Shadow Wind anymore, but okay, then I will just use Penance and Shields. And you can always see in PvP like, how can he still use spells? I just kicked him. But that's because we have holy spells, we have shadow spells, and we have fire spells. So Discipline Priest is pretty hard to lock down, because you can basically get out of, yeah, I mean, you cannot really be locked. It's very, well, then you have to be versus 2 persons who can actually lock you. So it would need to be a shaman and a warrior, for example, that both have lock. Also, in the worst situation ever, you have this pain suppression, reduce all damage taken by friendly target for 40 seconds, and you can actually use it while it's stunned. It's a great talent, and you can see now I get 40% reduced damage. If you combine it with the the talent Azeroth trait, this one here, it actually also instantly heals 10k. If you have 3 of those in your items, I mean, this pain suppression is like Leon Hands. It will heal like 30k or even more just instantly, and also reduce all damage by 40%. 40. That's pretty insane. So pain suppression default is very good, but with this Azeroth trait and also in 3 items, it can be godlike. And also while you're playing, keep in mind you have your fear. So every time someone is coming too close for you, fear them. You have your self-heal and increasing your health, Desperate Prayer. So every time you're getting low or something, you can use Desperate Prayer. It increases your health by 25, and it also heals you for the 25 it's increasing. And you have your Power with Barrier that you can use, and now I will get 25 reduced damage. And you resist all pushback while casting spells. You also have your Master spell you can use, so if a paladin is bubbling, you can actually get him out of the bubble. Yeah. So another thing, so I just talked about before Mindbender. So you can see if I use Atonement on myself and I use my Purge of the Wicked, you can see right now it's healing 800 all the time, 1800. If I use my Mindbender, so let's use Atonement, Mindbender, you can see, and with Purge of the Wicked for example, how much healing I'm getting all the time, and it's a lot. It's healing 2k all the time. I know it's 1900, but almost 2k. So 2k all the time from this Mindbender. And now in 1 minute again, I can use it again, and he will heal for 12 seconds, 2k all the time. So Mindbender is a really great damage and healing ability on the same time, and you don't really have to do anything because he will attack for you. So it's pretty great. I think that's pretty much all the recommendations I have. Of course, you also have your Dispel, so you can remove magic effects and disease, and also you can dispel a magic effect on your enemies if you want to remove a buff or healing over time. You have Mind Control, that is one of your most important CCs. You can stop a healer from healing, so mind controlling him, but be careful, because while you're mind controlling him, you cannot heal your own team. So if you mind control too long, you will forget to heal your team, and pretty much your team will die. Just a little last tip is when you're shielding someone, of course you get the Atonement, then you have your Penance. So the Penance is still healing more than damaging. So that means if your team is actually having problems with the health and they need a healing ASAP, then you have to use your Penance defensive and heal your team with it. If everyone is above 50% health, that they should as a Disc Priest, then it's actually better to use Penance as a damage, because then it also heals. But it heals way more if you use it as a defensive spells and cast it on your teammates. So if they have low health, use penance on your teammates. If they have high health, you could say, then use it on your enemies. So it will heal everyone for a little amount. But if someone is in trouble and very close to die, 100% use it penance on him directly, so you heal him more. Yeah, I think this pretty much sums it up. I mean, the rotation here is you should know the spells, the basics of this class. The most important thing is what I'm telling you is just the talents, how I play with them, and what they can do for you. So thank you guys for watching this little guide. I will now be playing a little rated battleground I played yesterday where we owned pretty much, and I think I actually did a pretty good job on the healing also. So you can stop now wondering if you just wanted to see the guide, but if you also want to see the gameplay of me playing a rated battleground, you can keep hanging here and watch it in 2 seconds. So thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.
the heart.